CQ the X, CQ the X, CQ the X. This is Havana calling. CQ the X, CQ the X, CQ the X. This is Radio Havana calling all shortwave listeners and radio amateurs. Welcome to... DXers Unlimited, Radio Havana's weekly feature dedicated to the fascinating world of radio communications. Hola, amigos radio aficionados all around the world now listening via shortwave transmissions and the streaming audio from www.radiohc.cu. I am Arnaldo Arnie Coro, Radio Amateur CO2KK, and here's our first and sad news item. After checking for the Radio Australia shortwave frequencies that were heard regularly here in Havana during the morning hours, I found out that they were off the air. An email from a German shortwave listener, amigo Wolfie, confirmed my findings. Wolfie checked several of the usually on-the-air transmissions from Radio Australia, and his very sad report says, and I quote, "I was late when checked at 0107 UT, all Shepparton outlets have gone forever. And when checked at Brisbane, Queensland, also the 3 Northern Territories services on shortwave are history now. Signed 73, Wolfie, Delta, Foxtrot 5, Sierra X-ray." When he wrote NT services, he meant the special shortwave broadcast by Radio Australia to the isolated northern territories of that nation continent. There are still several ongoing attempts to try to revert the decision by the management of Radio Australia, totally suppressing all shortwave transmissions. Item 2. Running desktop solid-state receivers from a battery power supply has proven to reduce noise pickup in many instances. In practical terms, some radios do have the option of receiving power from an external source, like a 12 volts battery, while others do not have the possibility. In that case, what I have done recently for a friend was to install an external switch and connections so that he can power his radio while connected to the AC home power line, or by flipping the switch, he may supply power from the big gel cell 40 amps hour 12 volts battery. I also built for him a simple battery charger to provide a flow charge to the accumulator, so the battery will last a long life. Results after powering up the radio from the big battery have proven to be excellent. His average noise level from 100 kHz to 10 MHz frequency range has gone down dramatically, making reception of weak signals now possible. Item 3. Also radio frequency noise sources related. It took some time to find that my daughter's aquarium air pump was generating the pulsed noise that spoiled my AM broadcast band reception. Following the well-tried and tested procedure for locating radio frequency noise sources, I went through the classic routine of disconnecting equipment one by one. And sure enough, when the aquarium air pump stopped, the noise went away. Then Claudia, my daughter, the owner of the beautiful tropical fish tank, said that the air pump must be on full time. Papá, todo el tiempo, full time. So phase 2 started when I looked for 2 ceramic disc capacitors and a toroid ring salvaged from an old computer power supply. I showed my daughter how the 2 ceramic disc capacitors, one of 0.1 microfarads and the other 0.01 microfarads, were soldered right next to the air pump switch. And now the power line cable was wound through the toroid also. Well, it wasn't perfect, but the noise went down substantially. Still searching for an aquarium pump that runs with a small motor that does not generate radio frequency hash as this one. Stay tuned for more Radio Havana-related information coming up in a few seconds here from Radio Havana Cuba. I'm Arnie Coro, Radio Amateur CO2KK, broadcasting from sunny, beautiful La Habana. Very nice weather here. This is Radio Havana Cuba. The name of the show is DXers Unlimited. We are now on the air with the middle of the week edition that starts just after the half-hour RHC newscast. Item 4, starting soon, I will be in charge of the Spanish language shortwave listeners program En Contacto, and plans are in the works to introduce several new sections on that show. Among the one, Cuban frequencies might also be a good idea to include into the DXers Unlimited's menu. Here's just an example of Frecuencias de Cuba, Cuban frequencies as presented, to be presented at the En Contacto, the new section of the show, Cuba, Frecuencias de Cuba. There are 3 Cuban radio broadcasting stations on the 60 meters tropical band. Radio Progreso is on 4,765 kHz from 0130 to 0500 UTC, running 50 kilowatts and the same program feed as Radio Progreso national AM and FM networks. Radio Rebelde is on 5,025 kHz and it's on the air 24 hours, keeping the audio feed all the time connected to Radio Rebelde AM, the AM national network. When Radio Rebelde is broadcasting live sports events like the very popular baseball games here, the radio station programming is shifted to the FM national network. So 2 separate Radio Rebelde's programs are on the air at the same time, one on the AM, one on the FM. Then Radio Havana Cuba, esta emisora, this station, broadcasts on 5,040 kHz from 22 hours UTC until 06 hours UTC of the next day. Progreso and Rebelde are running 50 kilowatts to tropical band ITU antenna designs, standard designs, while Radio Havana Cuba is running 100 kilowatts to a full-wave dipole antenna designed by now retired Bauta Transmission Station ex-chief engineer Hector Esperon. And now here is our next section of the show. Ask Arnie, very popular one indeed, answering a question sent by listener Gary from Maine, USA. Gary wanted to know more about what may be considered the minimum power transmission that will still bounce back from the ionosphere. That's a very touchy, very controversial topic. Well, amigo Gary, that is a really good question because after the introduction of digital transmission modes JT9 and JT65, it has been found that with really ultra-low power, micro power, it is possible to establish two-way communications via the ionosphere. The less rugged digital modes like PSK31 and PSK63 are also good while using low transmitted power and small antennas, but they cannot be compared with the amazing results achieved with JT9 and JT65 digital communications modes. Now, item 7. Better be careful with AA size batteries, yes, the AA's. Some of them may not be standard chemical composition like zinc carbon, nickel cadmium, or nickel metal hydride. As a matter of fact, there are now some lithium polymer batteries that will fit into the battery compartment of portable radios and handy-talkie ham-band transceivers, and that's going to be dangerous. Please be aware that the lithium batteries cannot be used on those radio sets. Even some cells may fit into the battery compartment, but they generate a higher voltage, much higher voltage per cell. Any attempt to recharge a battery using the metal lithium as one of its elements must be done under very carefully controlled conditions in order to avoid accidents that happen due to the overheating of the lithium cells. A Cuban radio amateur friend of mine, Charlie Oscar 7 Whiskey Tango Pavel, designed and built a special battery charger for use with different types of lithium cells, and his charger includes several well-designed protection circuits to avoid very fast charging and also to provide the all-important output current limiting. The typical handy-talkie for the 2 meters and 70 centimeters FM operation have proven to last for a long time if you take good care of them, including checking that the proper types of batteries are the ones that are installed. Handy-talkies and FM repeaters make possible to deploy emergency communications to a certain area with repeater coverage in just a few minutes, something that has proven to be very effective in helping authorities to deal with such events as big accidents, extreme weather conditions, etc. And now here, item 7 at the middle of the week edition of the show. And at the end of the program, as always, here is Arnie Coro's high-frequency propagation update and then the forecast for the next few days. Solar activity continues to be low. The solar flux is around 75 to 80 units. It's very, very typical of the last leg of the solar cycle that's happening right now. And expect no possible long-distance F2 propagation conditions on the higher frequency bands during the daytime hours. See you all at the weekend edition of DXers Unlimited. This is going to be happening on the air next weekend. The weekend edition is on the air exactly after the top of the hour newscast. This will be Sunday and Monday UTC days. Send your signal reports and comments to info@rhc@enet.cu or via airmail to Arnie Coro, Radio Havana Cuba, Havana, Cuba. And that's all for today. This is Arnie Coro, Radio Amateur CO2KK, your host here at Radio Havana's DXers Unlimited, saying 73 and very good DX.
Thanks, Arnie. Arnie Coro, DXers Unlimited, heard every Tuesday here on Radio Havana, Cuba.